Hey, what's up everybody? This video right here is for the person out there who is holding XRP but not quite sure if that's the coin they should be in. And hopefully this video finds you well because I'm going to explain why conviction, confidence, and knowing what you hold is so important. Now, when you look on the internet, on social media, you scroll down, you see XRP posts, right? And a lot of them have tons of conviction. They're not going to sell their coins. They are full dead on committed, right? You know, they're hyping it up. They talk positive every day. But then you have the people who also talk positive, but then it starts wearing down on them. And then they get totally frustrated and they just throw in the towel and they say, oh, it's the worst piece of crap in the world. It hasn't done anything since forever. It's, Solana's been going on a bull run and now it's on, it's been on another tear. XRP hasn't done anything, right? So, this video is to describe what that psychological sort of torture is doing to people and how you can overcome it by understanding where you are in the price discovery, or I should say the price journey as we journey into discovery. So going back to the very beginning, right? XRP came out. We had a pump. Big pump. That was a pretty big pump. Let's see what that was. It actually was down here, I believe. And we came up, it was almost, 3,000% almost? Crazy. And then what happened? We had a bear market. And in the bear market, people's psychology changes, right? But they're still like, okay, it's a bear market. They're understandable. We got to get through with it, right? You come down, you're down, 95%. Totally understandable, right? It's a bear market. People get it. But then after the bear market, they expect the price to go into a new bull market, right? And what happens? We don't go into a bull market. Instead, we go into a retracement. As we're going into retracement, which is not a bad retracement, it's 800, almost 900% right there. As we're going in this beautiful retracement, most people think it's terrible, but I think it's perfect because it's setting up for a unbelievable bull run, right? Which the likes no one have seen before, except for Bitcoin, right? But as we're going into retracement, think about the other coins, right? Not necessarily at the time of 2014. This is, by the way, this is XRP from 2014 through 2018. So when the other coins, right, as XRP goes into retracement, the other coins are going into new bull runs. They're going up, 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 right? And what does XRP do? It only goes into a retracement, right? So now people are like, okay, what's wrong here? What's going on? What's happening, right? This is for the person who doesn't really get the fundamentals, right? And fundamentals at the end of the day doesn't mean anything at the moment because we don't live in a fundamental utility driven market. We live in a speculative market, which is basically speculation, right? People are speculating price, right? Like Dogecoin, it has no real intrinsic utility value, but it ripped higher than a lot of the coins. It did one of the most phenomenal bull runs of all time, right? But that was based off hype, speculation, and things like that, right? So you could be investing in XRP for the right reasons. It's, the fundamental value of Ripple, XRP, the company, all the things about it, right? You're investing because of that. But at the same time, that doesn't really mean anything when you're in the world of TA, right? Because people don't understand. How is it possible XRP hasn't done anything yet it's one of the best cryptos on planet Earth. They don't get it, so they think manipulation. Well, yeah, maybe so, but more than manipulation, it's doing what it has to do, and I'm going to explain why it has to do that, and basically go in depth about, my last video did a really good job, I think. So I'd recommend starting there too. But let's continue on here, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because it's really about people who hold XRP, right? It's fundamentally on fire. Everything about it is perfect, right? We won the lawsuit. It has regulatory clarity. It's fast. It's cheap. They got Ripple. They got partnerships. They got the central banks. They're working with all the, they got the XRP ledger, working with different CBDCs, right? They're doing what they need to do in order to put themselves on in a position of strength. But remember, that is different from where we are now. That is later down the road. That is in a regulated market. The only way you're going to have utility driven market, right? You invested in XRP because of its utility value, right? Because of the fundamental nature of what your conviction of what you believe it is and what it should be. But that doesn't happen until we're in a utility driven market. We're not. We're not in a utility. We are in a speculation market, right? So, not to say that XRP can't moonshot without the utility, but in order to get utility, we need regulation. So Congress needs to regulate crypto. But what are they doing? They're dangling the Oh, don't worry about here's the ETF, 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 ETF. Bitcoin ETF, everywhere you look, ETF, ETF, blah, 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 blah. It's like people are jumping up and down about it, but they have no clue what an ETF really is and why it's not a good thing it is good, but it isn't good, right? An ETF is just a security. It's a repackaged security. But more than that, it's a distraction from regulating the underlying asset itself rather than regulating crypto, rather than going to Congress, putting up a bill and regulating it like the stock market, like every other market, right? Because they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because if they do that, then the institutions can go in. Their clients, right? BlackRock and all their clients can go in and buy the real thing. But they don't want them to buy the real thing. They want them to buy the ETF, which is a fake version of Bitcoin. It's not a real thing. But more than that, they don't want crypto regulated. That's the problem. They want us to be in this limbo state. And then you say, well, then what's the point? Why are we even in crypto? Well, because you have to understand where you are in the phases first, and then also know that I believe the good guys in the crypto fight will eventually win. And I think that's going to happen in the next 1 to 2 years. We have a new administration potentially coming in. I really believe so. Gary Gensler is at his last term. I think he's going to be out. New Congress is going to be in. People want real regulation. They don't want ETF, even though, see, the biggest problem, and I'm sorry I'm ranting. I'm going to get into why XRP is in a position like no other coin, right? But the biggest problem is the crypto community, the Bitcoin community is basically the leaders of the crypto community, whether we like it or not, right? It's not the XRP community. It's not the Solana. It's not the altcoin. It's Bitcoin. The Bitcoin community are the leaders of the crypto community. And they did a great disservice with the ETF. They thought about the short term rather than thinking long term, right? So I'll give you one. Anthony Pompliano. He's on Fox Business. Yay, Bitcoin's great. It's the only coin you need. It's the best coin. It's the only coin. Or Michael Saylor, right? Those guys. Not just them, but all of them. All of the Bitcoin. They jump on TV and they say, Bitcoin ETFs are a good thing. But What Michael Saylor should have said is, no, I don't want a Bitcoin ETF. I want Congress to get off their butt and regulate crypto. That way, BlackRock and institutions can buy the underlying asset, not a derivative, a fake derivative of a Bitcoin that's repackaged as a security so that it's basically a weapon that they can control, or a tool, right? It's a traded fund, right? Rather than BlackRock and their clients owning the real Bitcoin, they're owning a derivative, basically an instrument that they can control to further manipulate price. It's all about dollars. It's not about Bitcoin, right? So Michael Saylor and Anthony Pompliano, though, they jump up and down about Bitcoin, but they don't understand, and that's crazy how they don't get it. They don't understand the fact that basically what their intentions are. And when I mean their intentions, I'm talking the central banks, right? Yeah, it's BlackRock and them, but it's mostly the central bank. They don't want crypto regulated. They want to sell you this ETF narrative. And that is the problem. And that's why Michael Saylor and Anthony Pompliano are jumping up and down, not because they care about Bitcoin, but because they want to push the hype out there, thinking that it's going to drive price. But what it's doing is it's doing the opposite. It's actually a disservice to the crypto community, right? Because they'd rather eat the cake before it's finished, and it's not right. So what they should have did is, when they're on Fox Business, they should have said, well, we don't really want the ETF. Well, we do, and I'm not saying ETFs are all bad. They are good. They help spread adoption. They are good in the sense of bringing people in and creating the hype around it, the news narrative, to bring people in so that they can learn about crypto. They hear Bitcoin ETF, Bitcoin ETF. They go, what's that? What is this? They're it's a learning thing, right? And that's a good thing. And that's fine. But what we want is real regulation so that real people can buy the real asset instead of a fake derivative repackaged as a security. Something, by the way, they hate. If you tell Anthony Pompliano, hey, Bitcoin is a security, he's going to slap you in the face, maybe, right? Right? He's going to be pissed because he knows it's not true. And I know he's right. It isn't true. But then you can say, hey, Anthony, you do realize you were just on Fox Business saying, yeah, an ETF is a good thing. Yeah, I did. But you just said Bitcoin's not a security. It's not a security. Then why are you on Fox Business saying you want an ETF? I don't understand. Anthony, don't you realize an ETF is a repackaged security? Why don't you Google it? Why don't you look it up? Oh, but it doesn't matter because Bitcoin's not really a security. That's just an exchange traded fund. Yeah, you're right. But the problem is why would you want people buying an ETF when they can buy the real thing? Because if BlackRock and their clients buy the real thing, then that means the price can go higher. If you want Bitcoin to go 100K, 250K, $1 million, you need people buying the real thing, not the fake thing, right? Just like gold and silver and all the paper markets on the COMEX, right? Gold should be 5,000 an ounce. Silver should be over $200 an ounce. But it's not, because JP Morgan and all of them rigged the silver market. It's proven. It's proof. There's been court documents that they've proven it. And that's the same thing they're going to do with crypto. It's not about BlackRock selling Bitcoin. It's about BlackRock selling dollars. It's all it is. An ETF is dollars. That's what it is. An ETF gives power to the dollar, not to Bitcoin. It gives it power to the dollar. The clients, right, they're making money off of the ETF, but they're not supporting the price of Bitcoin. They're doing it in an ETF sort of trading way, which deserves the hodlers and the long-term investors. So basically, I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy, and I'll end it right there. Sorry, I went on a rant, but hey, I got to say it because I've said it in other videos, but sometimes I got to say it a couple times more because people need to know that, ETFs are good, but their intention for releasing it is not good. If you see what I'm saying. Okay. So, and then it's the same thing with the XRP ETF. If I'm an XRP leader and I'm on Fox Business and they say, "Hey, what do you think about an XRP ETF?" I say, "You could take that ETF and you can go shove it up your boop." And they go, "What? Why? Why would you say that? Why would you don't you want XRP?" Yeah, I do, but why don't, instead of an ETF, why don't you regulate it, right? Why don't you regulate it and make it in law, right? We want the law. We want it written in law so that anybody in the United States can buy it. Any institution, any firm, right? Investment firm, any hedge funds, they all have legal compliance of buying the real thing instead of an ETF, right? Now, not to say that it's a bad thing, but let's get regulation in first. The whole point of it is its ETFs are a distraction. They're delaying the inevitable. So now I come back to XRP. Now I go, well, why isn't XRP mooning? Why is it, why isn't it going up? Right? Well, first of all, technical analysis is king, and I'll show you exactly why in the chart. But fundamentally, why isn't it going up? It's the best coin out there. They got everything going for it, the payments and the whole 9 yards. I'm not going to get into all that, but people get it. People buy XRP because of that. But it's not, the price isn't reflecting that. Why? Because there's no regulation. Why? Because they don't want regulation. Why? Because it's a competition to the central banks. So what do they do? They have to distract us with the ETF. See, now you understand. Now you're getting it. If Gary Gensler allowed the Bitcoin ETF, you have to know that it's not for your good, right? Gary Gensler doesn't want you to win. He doesn't want me to win. He doesn't want any of us to win. He wants his central banker friends to win. So if Bitcoin is a competition to the banks, then why would they approve the ETF? Right? Why would they do it? Because they had to do it. Number one, because, like I said, it's a distraction. And number two, people were crying and whining for it. Right? So basically, now I got that out of the way. Going back to the price. So as the rest of the market was going up, XRP went into a retracement. I'm trying to emphasize the psychological sort of how people go on about, because if you're holding XRP for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or even a year or whatever, there's different psychological waves that happen in your mentality, your confidence, your conviction, and things like that. So, especially when you see other coins ripping and higher and higher and higher, and XRP has only been on one bull run. XRP has been around the longest, other than Bitcoin, right? I think it's the second or third graded crypto, but it only had one bull run. So I think we're overdue for one, don't you think? But anyway, so you come up here, then you go down. So basically, you have a bull run, you have a bear market, then you go into a retracement, then you go down to reaccumulation. As we're going down into reaccumulation, this is where people give up, right? And then once it starts to balance out, people get, they start coming back, right? But then as it continues to go sideways and sideways, now people are really starting to give up. And then it pumps up one last time. This is Wyckoff accumulation, by the way. And as Wyckoff accumulation happens, it's designed to psychologically shake people out of their retail position. So we come up here in the spring, right? This is known as the spring phase. And as we're going up, People are, okay, we have another chance. We're starting to break this high. We're getting close. And then what happens? Down. This is the 10-day chart, by the way. So 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, right? 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120 days of going down, 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 after not doing anything. And what does that do psychologically? It's like, well, wait a minute, why is this happening? And as it was going down, Bitcoin and I think Ethereum and Litecoin at the time, they were flying. I believe so. Okay, so then now this is sort of where we are right now. Because when you look on Twitter, you can see people saying, well, it's, years of holding XRP, all for nothing, missed opportunities, and they're right. And they are right. There was a ton of missed opportunities, right? And, I wouldn't, if XRP was here, I wouldn't want to hold it because you have all this to endure. But you didn't know that was all going to happen unless you know, where we are in the cycles. So for me, I was accumulating Bitcoin all through, the previous prior to, around C19, right? Once we got out of there, that's when I started going into XRP. But I should have waited even longer because we had to go through all of this reaccumulation phase. Okay, so if I zoom out, now you can see sort of where we are here. And basically, if I turn the lights on, you can see, right? You can see here what we got going, right? And I think we are at that final stage before XRP does what it needs to do. Now, you can say, well, we haven't gotten regulation yet. We haven't gotten utility yet. I think, number one, what is going to cause the XRP price to do this? XRP has only went up in a bull run one time, right? All of this sideways torture, all of this massive sideways torture, right? But remember, in order to get this right here, you need this right here. And that's exactly what we're getting right here, but on a much bigger scale, right? And it's taking forever. And that's the whole point of it, right? Think about XRP. It's testing your loyalty. XRP is going to give you the biggest reward, I think, not financial advice. Nothing I say is financial advice. I could be totally wrong. This thing can go to zero, right? But I don't think so. So what I'm saying is XRP, in my opinion, is going to be one of the biggest rewards of all time. And in order to get that reward, you have to go through hell. Think about the Navy SEALs, right? They got to go, in order to be a Navy SEAL, you are tested like no other person on earth, or special forces, or even the Army Rangers, right? They go through some brutal training, right? And a lot of people give up. They can't do it, right? They have to endure the pain in order to get the reward. Or think about an entrepreneur sleeping on his brother's couch, building his business, taking 3 years to get off the ground, buried in student loan debt, right? Then 10 years later, he's got a $10 million business. He had to endure all that pain. The bigger the pain, the bigger the gain, right? So all you have to do is hodl. And it's very simple. But you have a choice. You can either give it up or you can continue down. But why would you give it up now when you're literally almost at the finish line? You're nearing the apex of the triangle. You're nearing that apex right in here of that triangle. So, not to say it's going to happen today or tomorrow, or next week, or even next month, or even the next several months, but you're getting closer and closer. So XRP is like the most beautiful woman in the world, You know, if you want her, you gotta have a sense of loyalty, right? And at the end of the day, it's gonna test that loyalty. XRP, like I've said, biggest reward. It's not gonna just give it to you like nothing. It's gonna make you work for it. It's gonna test you, and it all has to do with your psychology, right? So what do we have here? What can we expect? Well, this right here is a fractal. This right here is a fractal. And this right here is a fractal. And both fractals are somewhat similar to this, where we are now, which is basically this and this, right? So in other words, we all want XRP to do this, moonshot, right? But how does it moonshot? What are the requirements? Well, right before this moonshot, we had what? This sort of sideways consolidation. Well, that's exactly what we have here, sideways consolidation. So what do you think happens after that, right? So basically, breaking it down, very simple. You have the green, right? This is the first phase. Then you have pink, right? Then you have blue. Then you have yellow. Then you have this sideways channel. Now, what is all that? I mean, if you've watched the channel, you already know. But if you're new, I want to go over it real quick. Basically, it is a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation sideways, right? So you have a rise, which is the bull market, and the bull market is basically the kickoff, right? You have the kickoff. And then you have a bear market, right? Where they're trying to return the ball, right? And then you have a retracement, right? And then you have a reaccumulation, and then you go into more reaccumulation. And that's exactly what the phases are. So looking at it, right? You have a rise, you have a rise. You have a crash, you have a crash. You have a retrace, you have a retrace. You have reaccumulation, you have reaccumulation. You have sideways reaccumulation, you have sideways reaccumulation. And then you have the big pump. Well, guess what? We haven't gotten that big pump yet. But I believe, that's why I believe it's coming. Now, if you look at this chart, it tells me that it's coming. Right? I don't know when, but you can see here. Let's zoom in on this right here. So let me, here we go. So you have 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you have this dump down here, right? So that's sort of how it happened. You had a 1, 2, 1, 2, or better yet, like an M or a Wyckoff pattern. And then basically it came down here and grabbed that liquidity before it shot off. And that's what happened in order to get this bull run. So let's see if that's happening now. Let's see if something even resembles that. So if I come over here again, right, you could see you have a 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, would you look at that? And now what happens after that, right? Well, basically you're coming down. You're coming down. We still got to go down further according to that fractal. We don't have to, but according to the fractal, we have to come down. So here's your M right here. And then we come down, right, further, grab that liquidity, and then it can let us go. Now, can you imagine if XRP holders are flipping out right now? Not all of them, but, some of them. Not the real loyal ones, but, the ones who, can't really second guessing themselves. And that's fine. I've been there and I know what it's like. So if they're flipping out at 58 cents, can you imagine if we come down even further down here and then come right in this pocket right in here? right? So A, B, C. So basically, let's go back here and zoom out, right? Here we go, right there. So basically, you have an M and then this circle. You have an M, and now we're coming down, right? So we still have to come down further. We still have to come down further according to this. So if we come down, if people are like giving up now and like, oh, XRP is not doing anything, that's what it has to do. So that's basically what this video is saying. Is basically, this is the whole point of me making this video is right here, what I'm about to tell you. People have, in order to get a big bull run like this, you have to have a massive exodus of people. You have to have tons of people giving up. The reason why XRP hasn't done anything for so long is because the XRP community is has so much commitment and conviction in what they hold that they're not giving up their coins. They're not doing it. But in order to get a bull run like this, you need people to give up their coins, right? You need people to give up. And that, and what does that do? Basically, that creates a liquidity trap, right? So people sell, the supply gets saturated, or people short it, right? Because we break below support. All that short money comes in, right? The price dumps. Then the retail hodlers sell their coins because they just gave up. All of that liquidity, all of the supply comes in, and what happens? The big whale, the big money comes in, and they buy it up. See that wick right there? That wick right there was the key. So they came in and bought it up, which allowed for this. So what needed to happen? Now this is the big part right here. What needed to happen? Number 1, a rise. Number 2, a crash. Number 3, a retracement. Number 4, reaccumulation. Number 5, sideways reaccumulation, right? And then number 6, the liquidity trap. So, and then number 7, the moonshot. So we're right at 6, which is the liquidity trap. Are we going to get it? We don't have to get it, but sometimes, it's necessary. You want to flush out you want to deleverage the market. You want to flush out all the bad money. You want to shake out all the weak hands. And only then you can have a monumental bull run. But the reason why it has taken so long, right? Well, partly is because XRP community is so relentless. They won't give up, right? But you wear them down year after year after year after year. Eventually, they give up. And then once that happens, that's when you get the moonshot. So that, to me, is the grand finale of this video. That's the grand finale right there. Only then, right? The XRP community is so relentless, right? They're not giving it up. They're never giving it up. But eventually, some of them do. And once that happens, it's sufficient enough for the liquidity to pour in, for the whales to snap it up, right? And for the moonshot to occur. And that's where I think we are right now. So when you look on Twitter and you see people giving up and you see people upset, that's okay. It needs to happen. You want to see more of it. The more you see, the better. Right? I don't think I'm seeing enough personally. You want to see people give up. You want to see people quit. You want to see people sell their coins, because that's what it takes to finish up this Wyckoff accumulation pattern, right? Which is what? The spring phase. So zooming in here, you can see real closely. If I zoom in real close, you can see wait 1 second. A, then you see B, and then you see C. And then you have that wick, of course. So you have an A, B, C, and then moonshot. So now let's go back and see if that's what we have. You come over here. So there's your M, right? And then what do you have? You have an A, you have a B, and now look at this. We're going down into C. And what happened? Now, I'm not saying it has to come all the way down. It could be done now, right? It could be a flat C. But basically, the fractal suggests that this is an A, B, and then we come down for C. We wick below, right? And then we sort of wick down here, and then we moonshot. We moonshot to the upside. So I think we're very close. We're right in here somewhere. So in order to get that sort of flush out, it needs to flush out all the bad money. You got to have more people giving up. So like I said, when you see people posting, hey, it hasn't done anything, hey, don't worry about it. That's what you want. When you see a post that says it's crap or whatever, take that as a bullish sign, because the markets are always contrary to what people think, right? If everybody's bullish on XRP, it's not going to move. But if a lot of people are bearish and giving up, then guess what? It's always the opposite. You know that, right? When people put a poll out, where do you think Bitcoin's going? 50,000 or 20,000? What comes first? People say 20,000, right? And then guess what? It goes to 50. Or people say 50, and then guess what? It goes to 20, right? It's always the opposite of the masses of what they think. So if the XRP community is so relentless, they're so stuck together and confident, well then, everybody's on the same trade. So it doesn't work, right? So you need people to flush out, and that's going to happen. It always does. But guess what? And you say, well, that was a big waste of time because all that time was wasted. No, it wasn't. You know why? Because it allowed for a massive base, right? The bigger the base, the higher in space. You can see this base right here. See? Rectangle. That rectangle, this base in here, caused this explosion in here. And guess what? We have even a bigger base. So now I'm going to go down the reasons why I think XRP is in the best position of all time. Number one, it's got the biggest base of any crypto on planet Earth. Number two, it's the strongest crypto on planet Earth, in my opinion, aside from Bitcoin. Why? Because it held its top 10 title despite not breaking its all-time high, only going into a retracement, having an SEC lawsuit, and it still kept the top 10, right? So let me do that again. It never broke a new all-time high. It was still in the top 10, even though all the other coins did. All the other coins broke into new all-time high, massive percentage points, right? XRP did not, and it still held the top 10. Then when we had XRP only went into retracement, still held the top 10, right? Then XRP had a lawsuit. If any other coin, let's say Ethereum, or maybe not, let's say any top 10 coin you pick, had a lawsuit as significant as XRP, it would have been knocked out of the top 10 instantly, I think. Massively, right? Okay. Then on top, and with that lawsuit, you still had XRP in the top 10. Okay. That to me shows strength, massive strength. Then on top of that, oh my goodness, I keep going, right? On top of that, XRP was delisted from all the major exchanges, and it still held the top 10. Can you imagine? I mean, it was delisted from major US exchanges. How is it possible that it still held the top 10 without breaking a new all-time high, with an SEC lawsuit, and on top of that, being delisted? That is why it is the strongest crypto on the planet. Aside from Bitcoin, of course, right? Now, I'm not talking market cap. I'm talking XRP was at its weakest. In other words, if XRP can survive, this is another grand finale. If XRP can survive a lawsuit, exchanges delisting, not going into a bull run, and still remaining in the top 10, if it could survive that, that was at its weakest. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine what it's like at its strongest? It's going to be unbelievable, I think. Not financial advice, right? So I measure strength not when it's running, but at its weakest, right? That's how you want to do it. How you can't measure, right? Like take Pepe or some coin that flied up and then flied down. If it flies up, a lot of coins fly up, right? The trashiest coins on planet Earth fly up. That's not strength. What real strength is measuring the coin at its weakest point and seeing how it fares against others. Okay? So what did XRP do? XRP had its weakest point of all time majorly. And if any other coin went through the hell XRP did, then guess what? It would have been wiped out. But that's why I believe XRP is the strongest coin. And that's proof. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? It is solid, in my opinion, 100% proof that XRP is one of the strongest coins out there. I would like to see what would have happened if Ethereum never broke its all-time high and then had a lawsuit. What would it done? What would have it done? I bet it would have been killed, despite having to pay the ridiculous gas fees that people don't want to pay anymore, right? That's why they had to come up with Ethereum 2.0 and 3.0, and it's all bullcrap, right? XRP is already at 3.0 from the very beginning. All right, so there you go. That's sort of the base of what I'm talking about. There's so much more information that I can get into, right? But basically, you got to pick and choose, right? And I'm trying to consolidate all this information so people can figure it out. But so if that wasn't enough information to get you bullish, right? And this channel is not to get you or make you or convince you. It's basically to state my case, my opinion for, entertainment purposes, right? But, if that was enough, let's talk now about the fractal, right? So you can see this fractal here. So you have this little one there, you have this little one there. You come up, come down, right? So we got that out of the way. Now, where are we at? Now we're starting to, stair step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You stair step on up. Then what do? You come back down. And this, to me, is probably one of the most important parts. Look at this right here. This flat part. And look at this right here. This flat part right here. You can't really see it as much because it's on the 10-day chart, but it looks almost identical to this, right? And then what happens? Right? You get a pump. To the upside, right? In the fractal, you get a pump to the upside. XRP, you get a pump to the upside. And then what happens? And then you come down, you curl down, right? Like a candy cane. You curl down, and what's happening now? You're curling down. And then what happens? Moonshot. And then what happens, right? I mean, like, we could be literally a day away. Well, maybe not a day away, but we could be close, right? We could be close. Very close. And, so the difference between this fractal and this fractal, right, obviously is sort of the time, but also too, this one took out the low. So this is the low, it took out the low. This is, this is the low in here. Let's see if we take that low out and then go. So either way, if XRP goes down to in the 40s, right, I really want it to hold above 37. So long as we're above 37, well, even 42, we want to stay above 42, I think would be good. So look, for example, this fractal, right, it broke way down here. Like I said, the liquidity trap. And then boom, it accelerated to the upside. Okay? So the difference here, right, is, basically the trap, right? This one had a low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Same thing here. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So it's on track, right? This one was sort of just flat on a resistance, and then it broke below. So this one's more rising. So I think this one is more in line, right? This one to me is more in line. But here's the thing. We can have a mixture of this one and this one. So it depends. It really depends on what happens. So basically this video is like a part 2 to the video that I had out the other day, which, by the way, it got some thank you so much to everybody who comment, like, subscribe. I think the video got about 1,000 views. That's really good for me. Little channel like mine, I'm so thankful that people are finding value in what I say, even though it's not a quick 10-minute video like most chart videos are out there. That's because it doesn't really go over the necessary information that I think it deserves, right? If you're an XRP investor or a crypto investor, you have to take it very serious, because that's your hard-earned money. You work 40 hours, 50, whatever, how many hours a week, right? You make money. That money is, you earned it, and it's, that's a hard-earned money right there. And then now you're taking that money and basically converting it into an investment. And you have to make sure that this investment pays off. And in order for that to happen, you have to do research, right? So what is it going to do? A 10-minute video? Is that sufficient research for your multi-$1,000 investment? No, I think it requires a little more. And that's why my videos, I'm basically doing, 6 videos in one video, right? So, because like most videos, it's for the algorithms. Think about the algorithm, right? People watch it if it's between 8 and 14 minutes. That's usually like that threshold for the most views, right? And I get it. I understand people don't have a lot of time. But look, if it's your investment, if this is your baby, this is your golden ticket to get out of the situation that you're in, or to better yet, to be in a better situation, right? And in order for that to happen, you got to have knowledge, and you got to have other people's, not just my opinion, but many, many, many opinions, right? And then that formulates your opinion. And that basically means you've done the research, right? So, a 10-minute video versus an hour-long video, which one has more information, right? I mean, I would say, why not watch both? Why not watch both? The more information you can get about your investment, the better, right? And it's good to have opposing views, right? Maybe there's a channel out there that's basically saying exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. But it's important that you watch that as well, so that you can make your own decision on what you feel is right, what you feel is true, because we all have that gut instinct of what we think, right? And, it could be disheartening when you've been in XRP for so long, or, maybe not that long, but still, I mean, this is a long time, right? Each candle is 10 days. This is 6.5 years of price right here. That's a long time. I mean, just imagine a newborn baby, right? It's an infant. It's only 8 pounds, right? And then and now he's in first grade, right? 6.5 years old. He was nothing. He was in mom's stomach, and basically right here, mom's stomach, and now he's 6.5 years old. That's a long time of not doing anything, right? Well, if I would count it here, that would be about 6 years, right? So, be conservative about it, right? But essentially, this is, a sideways base. A sideways base. You want the sideways base. You need the sideways base. You need the torture. You need the pain. You need the unsure. You need all of that. All those negative psychological emotions. You have to have that in order for the price to do this. Because you can see that's exactly what happened here, just on a smaller scale. You could see that. That took, what was that? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, about 3.5 years right there. Right? So this is twice as big, right? But in order to get this bull run, you needed this sideways torture. And that's what we're in now, but bigger. And guess what? We're overdue. We're due for a big explosion, is what I'm saying. Will that explosion ever come? It's impossible to know, but that's why we rely on the data. We rely on the fundamentals, right? Even though they don't really kick in until we have utility. But remember, crypto is international. A lot of countries don't wait for the United States. They're getting on it now, right? But again, it's all about how you believe in it, right? So I guess I could take you through a couple examples of basically we're all here for the moonshot. Right? So if that's the case, what does it take in order to get the moonshot? Well, I've said it many times: rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. What happens next? Potentially blast off, right? But what more than that, what needs to happen? Well, we need basically to break out. Right? And now I'll go over a few ideas on how that breakout will look. So basically there's the fractal there. If I overlay it, you can kind of see how close we are, right? This one too, it's not perfect, right? Nothing ever is, but basically that's what you got. So also confluence everything I said, you have a triangle here, just like over here. Right? So this is basically idea number one. Idea number one suggests that, we're in wave E. And this is the last wave. And it's the shortest wave. Good thing, right? And each wave needs 3 waves. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're in that final wave of the final wave to get out of here potentially, right? So same thing with wave B. You had 1, 2, 3, right? Same thing with wave C. You had 1, 2, 3, right? So it's all in threes. This is called an Elliott wave contracting triangle, and same thing here. It's 3 waves, right? So now, basically, what does that look like? Well, confluence to that, again, you have A, B, and now we're coming down for C. Now, is C finish? It could potentially be, because we can hold that low, or worst case scenario, we come down in the 40s, right? Maybe 42, and then start to really go. And that's really what I think. That's one of the ideas, right? Now, again, I don't know how far this final wave. It could be done now, it could be down a little bit further, or it can be really down and nasty. I don't know, but I think we're in that final wave, right? And then we get that reversal out of here. So confluent to that, we have a diagonal. Check this out. We have a leading diagonal. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a 5-wave move, but it's in the form of a diagonal. And then after 5 waves, what do you get? You get an A, B, and then also a C. And then you get that moonshot. So that's what I'm thinking here, right? But then the question is, how do you get a moonshot if Bitcoin is already in distribution? Well, maybe Bitcoin's not. Maybe Bitcoin continues to go. Or maybe Bitcoin is in distribution, and as it oscillates up, we get those big pumps, right? Because Bitcoin likes to move first. Then when it goes sideways, then a lot of the alts catch up, which could be happening now. Another really bullish thing that could be happening here is this could be, you know, a 1. This could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now we're in the third wave, but we're in 1 of 3. So 1, 2 of the third, and now we're ready. We're getting ready to go, right? That can be an idea. Or you can do it like this, where this whole thing is a 1, 2, right? And now we're in the process of the third wave, right? So the third wave, this could be a 1, 2 of the third, or this can be a 1, 2, and then, or I'm sorry, this could be a 1 A, B, C, which is 2, and then 3, 4, 5. So there's really not many ideas in here. They all confluent with each other, saying that, you know, we got some work to do in here, but we're looking fresh for the upside. But basically, this bull run came from sideways base, and people don't like sideways base. You see it, like I said, on Twitter all the time. People are just you know, they can't stand it. They're like, what am I doing in here? It's not doing anything. Well, that's the whole point. Like Warren Buffett says, the stock market or crypto market is a device that transfers wealth from the from the impatient to the patient. So you have to decide what you are. I am, for one, impatient. So, you know, this base gave us that. This base will potentially give us a moonshot, right? Same thing, here's theta. Here's theta token. Look at this base. In order to get this big moonshot, what did theta have to do? It had to do this. It had to have this big base, right? Which allowed the big moonshot, right? Same thing with ADA. Look at this, sideways base, right? Which gave us the big moon. Same thing with Filecoin. Look at this, sideways base in order to get the big moonshot. Same thing sort of with Binance Coin. You have a sideways base. But guess what? XRP's base, this is why I'm so bullish. All the reasons I just said. But XRP's base is the biggest one of all time. It is the biggest base in crypto history. And then check this one out. Dogecoin. Look at this base right here. Sideways base, which allowed for the biggest moonshot. So you want to be investing, not financial advice, but you want to be in a position where the base is already complete. Now you also want, right? You also want the price to be what? Base, for one, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and another sideways base, right? And then you get that moonshot. So XRP is like right here. So why would I buy Doge when Doge still has to go into retracement, still has to come down, still has to go in reaccumulation? So here's XRP. So Doge is like right here, right? So like I said, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Now we're in this sideways base here. So it's kind of like a cup, and it may be shaping up to be a handle right here. But here's Solana. Why would I be in Solana when all we had is a straight up, straight down retrace? To me, it needs to come down, go sideways, and then potentially it can continue back up, or A, B, C, and then go up. Now, if you're holding theta, or any coin kind of like where we are here, we still have a lot of percentage room. I still believe we're going to get up here. We got to work our way up here. The question is, do we bust out of here, or do we come down, then go sideways, then go? Depends. But basically, Everything I said applies for XLM as well. XLM is at that finish line. So I've given so many reasons why I believe XRP is bullish. Same thing with XLM. You have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. We're getting ready to go. Now, XRP can also, this is XLM, but XRP, if it wanted to be bearish, it can go A, B, and then hit the low way down here, freak everybody out, then go. But if we get that flush out, then I'm going to think, okay, it's following that other fractal. So we could get a big scare, right? Now, what would be totally off would be an A, B, and then we come all the way down for C, A, B, C, and then go. But each one says we go, we go, we go. The difference is when, right? We're all hoping for this, and that's what the chart is suggesting, but be prepared for this, right? I'm not thinking it's going to happen, but anything can happen. It's crypto, right? So on XRP, it can be W, X, and then a Y, but it looks a little funny. So who knows? Who really knows? But at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not going to entertain that at all until we start proving that that's the case. And if that's the case, we need to start taking out this low. If we take out that low, then we can say it's the case. But until then, this can be an A, B, C, or it can come down more or more, right? If it really wants to get nasty and then go, which is just a bigger version of this ABC right here. So A, B, C, we came really deep down here, and then we went. So if you see people on social media saying why in XRP it's a big waste of time, just when you see that, just smile. That's all you gotta do. Just smile, because you know you're getting close. So there you go, guys. I know I wanted to try to get it under an hour for the algos, but maybe you guys can make up for that by liking this video, hopefully, and leave a comment, and really appreciate it. I think I'm sort of giving a perspective not too many people are giving out there. I've gone for over 60 minutes. That's like 6 10-minute videos. So leave me, if you want, 6 thumbs up. So anyway, I think I've stated my case here on why I think XRP, and there's so much more too. I can get into more later, but for time purposes, I think I've covered quite a lot on why, when it regards to the Bitcoin ETF, the security thing, the regulations, where we are in the chart, the fundamental value, why XRP, the big part for me to emphasize is XRP's strength. People don't realize how strong it is because it hasn't done anything. But you got to measure strength through weakness. XRP's weakest point, it still held the top 10 title, despite having a lawsuit, had a top 10 title, despite having Coinbase delisting and all the exchanges, still had a top 10 title. And the big one is not breaking into new all-time high. All it did was go into retracement. It didn't break this high like all the other coins did. If one of those things happened to another coin, it would have been knocked out of the top 10. XRP held the top 10 despite all of those things. And that tells me tremendous strength. If it can survive that storm, just imagine when the sun comes out. Just imagine when the night falls and you can officially see the moon. There you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.